Ah, look who finally stopped pretending everything is fine. Hello to the silent warriors, the ones who smile through the pain, the ones who've been broken so many times they learned to build armor from the pieces. Hello to the ones who wake up every day carrying weight no one else can see, fighting battles no one else believes are real, surviving wars that never make the news. They're calling you strong now, aren't they? Whispering about how you keep going, how you never quit, how you handle everything with grace. But let's be honest right now, you're not strong because you want to be. You're strong because you had no other choice. And that reality hits different than any motivational quote ever could. If this resonates with you, tap that like button right now. Let me know you're here, you're listening, you're one of us, and subscribe because we're building something real here. A community that doesn't sugarcoat survival, doesn't pretend healing is linear, doesn't lie about how hard this journey actually is. See, they had you convinced for years that strength meant never breaking, didn't they? They sold you this fantasy that resilience looks like perfect posture and positive thinking, that real warriors never cry, never doubt, never feel the crushing weight of existing in a world that keeps taking and taking and taking. They needed you to believe that your struggles were temporary, that your pain had purpose, that everything happens for a reason, and you're being prepared for something greater. But something shifted. Something inside you finally cracked open and you saw the truth. There is no grand plan, no cosmic lesson, no divine compensation waiting at the end of your suffering. There's just you, still standing, still breathing, still fighting, not because it's noble or inspiring, but because the alternative is unthinkable. You want to know when it really started, when you stopped believing their lies about strength. It wasn't during some breakthrough moment or inspiring sunrise. It was at 3 in the morning when you couldn't sleep again, when the thoughts wouldn't stop, when you realized you've been running on empty for so long you forgot what full even feels like. It was when you looked in the mirror and barely recognized the person staring back, when you understood that survival changes you in ways that can't be undone, can't be explained, can't be packaged into some neat recovery story. You didn't choose to become this person. You were forged into existence by circumstances that should have destroyed you but somehow didn't. You didn't study resilience. You survived what should have killed you. You didn't learn mental toughness from books. You developed it at 4 in the morning, fighting panic attacks alone. You didn't practice emotional control. You built walls so high and so thick that now you can't remember how to let anyone in, even when you want to. And now you walk through life with a heaviness others can't comprehend, carrying trauma like a second skeleton, functioning at a level that would break most people while everyone around you calls it normal. Let's talk about what they're really saying when they call you strong, shall we? They're not celebrating your resilience, they're excusing their absence. Because strong implies you don't need support, don't require help, don't deserve the same compassion they'd offer someone who looks more broken. Strong means they can keep taking from you without guilt, keep expecting you to handle everything, keep assuming you'll be fine because you always have been. They weaponized your survival against you, turned your ability to endure into permission to demand more patience, more understanding, more sacrifice, more silence about your own needs. You're not strong. You're conditioned, trained through repeated trauma to minimize your pain, to function through crisis, to keep everyone else comfortable while you're drowning internally. Here's what they don't understand about carrying this kind of weight. You're not just dealing with what happened, you're dealing with who it turned you into. Every betrayal rewired your ability to trust. Every loss recalibrated your capacity for hope. Every disappointment adjusted your expectations until you learned to expect nothing, and somehow you're still disappointed. You've become someone who plans escape routes at parties, who tests people before getting close, who keeps one foot out the door in every relationship because you know how quickly everything can fall apart. Your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, treating normal life like a combat zone. reading threats in innocent gestures, finding danger in safe spaces, unable to rest, because rest means vulnerability, and vulnerability means destruction. You see it now, don't you? The performance everyone else is giving. They talk about their problems like they're real, while you're carrying demons they couldn't imagine and staying quiet about it. They complain about stress, while you're managing disorders that would hospitalize them. They break down over inconveniences while you're holding together through catastrophes. And somehow you're supposed to be impressed by their struggles, supposed to validate their pain while yours goes unacknowledged because you've learned to suffer silently. The loneliness of this is suffocating, being surrounded by people who have no idea what you carry, who see your calm exterior and assume you're fine, who take your stability for granted while you're using every ounce of energy just to maintain the illusion of okay. Nobody tells you this part about surviving the unsurvivable. You don't get to celebrate. You don't get a medal or recognition or even basic understanding. You just get to keep going, keep functioning, keep pretending that normal life is accessible to you when your version of normal would break most people before breakfast. You wake up already exhausted from the dreams that aren't really dreams but memories disguised as nightmares. You go through your day performing stability while your mind is screaming, managing triggers no one else notices, navigating a world that wasn't built for people who've seen what you've seen, survived what you've survived, carry what you carry. They notice something different about you though. They always do. They say you've changed, become harder, colder, more distant, less fun than you used to be. What they mean is you stopped pretending for their comfort, stopped laughing at things that aren't funny to someone who knows real pain, stopped participating in shallow conversations about nothing when you're dealing with everything. You've become the person who doesn't fake enthusiasm for trivial drama, doesn't match their energy for manufactured problems, doesn't pretend to care about gossip when you're fighting to care about anything at all. Your presence makes them uncomfortable because you represent what they fear most, that life can break you, that safety is an illusion, that no amount of positive thinking protects you from devastation. So they distance themselves. They have to, because you remind them of their own fragility, their own proximity to the kind of pain that changes everything. They need to believe they're different, that it couldn't happen to them, that they'd handle it better, that your darkness isn't contagious. You didn't reject them. They rejected the mirror you held up, the reminder that we're all one tragedy away from becoming someone we don't recognize. And they blamed you for making them feel unsafe in their comfortable delusions. But here's what happens when you stop apologizing for surviving. When you stop dimming your reality to make others comfortable, when you finally accept that yes, you're different now and no, you're not imagining it, you become dangerous in the most powerful way. Not cruel, not cold, just unavailable for pretending, immune to fake positivity, allergic to people who've never been tested trying to tell you how to heal. Your energy shifts from explaining to existing, from seeking validation to trusting your own experience completely. You stop justifying your boundaries to people who've never needed them. Stop defending your healing timeline to people who've never been shattered. Stop trying to make your survival story digestible for people who can't handle anything that doesn't have a happy ending. This changes everything about how you move through the world. You waste less time on people who drain you, invest less energy in connections that require you to shrink, tolerate less disrespect from people who mistake your kindness for weakness. You become ruthless with your peace, selective with your presence, protective of your energy like the limited resource it is. Not because you're bitter, but because you've learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to you. That some people will take everything you offer and still blame you for not giving more. That your survival is more important than their comfort. You want to know the most powerful part about this transformation. Others like you recognize you immediately. There's this wordless understanding that happens when two people who've been through hell lock eyes, no performance needed, no explanation required, just instant recognition that you're both operating on a frequency most people never access. You find each other in the quiet spaces, the ones who've learned that silence is sometimes the only honest response, the ones who understand that surviving isn't the same as thriving, the ones who know that healing isn't linear and some wounds never fully close. And when you connect with someone else who carries weight like you do, it's different. It's real, in a way. Surface friendships never approach. There's no pretending required, no script to follow, no pressure to be further along than you are. Learning to live with this reality, it's not about fixing yourself or returning to who you were before. You can't. That person died the moment everything fell apart. It's about integration, accepting that this is your operating system now. This is how you process the world. This is your permanent filter. You're not going back to naive trust, not returning to the days when you believed people at face value, not reversing into the person who didn't understand how cruel life can be. This is who you are now, someone who knows too much, feels too deeply, sees too clearly, and you can either fight that reality or weaponize it. So you learn to trust your instincts completely, to honor the knowing that comes from surviving, to protect yourself without apology. Someone feels unsafe. You don't need to justify it. Don't need evidence or examples. You just know, and you act accordingly. A situation feels wrong. You don't override your gut with logic. Don't talk yourself into giving it a chance. You just remove yourself. No explanation needed. No guilt accepted. Your survival instincts didn't get this sharp so you could ignore them. They upgraded so you could finally move through life protecting yourself the way no one else ever did. And yes, people will call you paranoid, damaged, too much, too broken. Let them. Those accusations come from people who haven't been where you've been, who still believe the world is fundamentally safe, who haven't yet learned that trust without wisdom is just another word for target. You're not paranoid, you're aware, you're not damaged, you're different, you're not too much. You're just done being convenient for people who never considered your pain. Here's what they'll never tell you in those toxic positivity posts. Surviving trauma gives you an advantage, a clarity most people never develop. While others are trusting blindly, you're watching carefully. While others are hoping for the best, you're prepared for the worst. While others are getting blindsided, you saw it coming 3 moves ago. You're not living the same life they are. You're living in a dimension of awareness, where their naivety looks almost dangerous, where their optimism feels reckless, where their trust seems foolish. You've earned your skepticism through experience, your caution through betrayal, your walls through violation, and anyone who hasn't paid that price doesn't get to judge how you protect what's left. This advantage compounds over time, while others are recovering from disasters you avoided, healing from betrayals you prevented, picking up pieces from explosions you saw coming and stepped around. You're building, slowly, carefully, deliberately, creating a life that might not look impressive to others but feels safe to you. And that safety, that carefully constructed peace, it's worth more than any achievement they could measure. You're not wasting energy on people who were showing red flags from the beginning, not giving years to situations that were never going to improve, not sacrificing your sanity for connections that were always conditional. So let them call you cold. Let them say you've changed. Let them whisper about how you're not the same person anymore. They're right. You're not. You're someone who survived, someone who adapted, someone who learned that the world doesn't reward your softness with gentleness. It punishes it with pain. You didn't become harder because you wanted to. You became harder because it was adapt or die. And you chose survival even when it meant losing pieces of yourself you'll never get back. And yes, it's lonely. Yes, it's exhausting. Yes, sometimes you wish you could return to the innocence of not knowing how dark life can get. but you can't. And deep down, you wouldn't even if you could. Because this awareness, this hard-won wisdom, this battle-scarred resilience, it's the most valuable thing you've ever developed. It keeps you alive when others would crumble, keeps you moving when others would quit, keeps you breathing when everything inside you is screaming to stop. And that is real strength, not the performative kind they celebrate, but the brutal, honest, unglamorous kind that gets you through another day when another day feels impossible.